You talked about earlier in the episode starting the company in New York, and then we got to talk on the phone, and you talked about moving the company to Louisville, and I think there's a pretty cool story behind that, and some reasons that went into that. So why don't you dive in to the story about coming from New York to Louisville?
Yeah, so New York was the right place to start Borderless. It's like a financial epicenter and also a growing, very growing tech scene. It's I think number two or number three, whether you want to rank it after Seattle or not. Um, and uh, and so built great connections over there, and that's kind of where we improved most of the product to where it is today. But we knew staying in New York as a company, as a culture, as a future, was not the best thing to do, right? To talk about efficiency, to talk about where we want to take the company long term, it wasn't the best choice for us. And that's kind of why we started to look elsewhere. And so we had a whole process behind it. And so we started to look at different cities, right? The growth rate, the tech ecosystem, the talent, cost of living. There was kind of variable metrics, and so a couple cities came to mind. Louisville was not one of them, and and somehow throughout this process, and we were like I'd say, 3/4 of the way or 60% of the way through this process, right? Um, I read an article about Louisville, and the article was very kind of this catchy type article where they're looking to invest into the Louisville ecosystem about $200 million, I believe, by 2023. And it's the same amount that's being bet on the Kentucky Derby in one day. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know people bet that much money in one day in the first place. And so that kind of was like spiked my interest into looking into the tech ecosystem in Kentucky as a whole. And so got connected here to Patrick Henshaw, who was the CEO of Leap at the time. And after a few conversations, dug deeper into the ecosystem, and we actually decided to come here to check it out. And we did, and we really liked it. And then we narrowed it down to two places, and then actually Louisville ended up taking the first place. And so we moved here, which wasn't an easy decision, but I think it was the right decision.